Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's stream. We're gonna do coverage here, the highlights of the today's camp. Mike, you know what time it is? Cabo time. The serious. We're in it to win it. This is the season when we're in it to win it. So, yeah, guys, thanks for everybody that's showing up here live in the comments and in the chat box. And anybody watching this on the replay, make sure you guys pound that like button, subscribe to the channel here, subscribe to my boy Cowboys Corner YouTube channel, and we're gonna get right into it, guys. We got a whole bunch of topics we're gonna talk about today. Some of the highlights. Mike, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Good. It's been a couple of weeks since we did the Frisco report, and I might be a little rusty, but I'm ready to talk some ball.
Yeah, we're in it, man. So full blown. We got this is week two of camp, really. Pretty much it's kind of been more of a mini camp vibe. In shells, pretty much. They won't hit pads until tomorrow, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. But yeah, so who are your early standouts, Mike? Let me know who you think are the early standouts with this mini camp type style without pads. Who are your standouts right now?
Yeah. So my standouts right now, man. I'm liking Simi Fahoku,
Hmm.
that fifth round wide receiver. The guy's got to make some noise, man, in this league, and he just looks a par. He we call them, what do we call them, a Swiss Army knife, or a project maybe for next year. But I think he's took this all season serious, took the OTA serious. I know Dak has his Dak camp. Maybe they went to that, and
Hmm.
but it seems like his route running, his knowledge of the playbook, knowing what to do. Now we'll find out more on Hard Knocks and preseason, things of that sort. But from what I'm looking at right now, I love that wide receiver. I love what he's doing. Competition's great. Malik Turner, another wide receiver, number 17, looking fantastic, guys. I'm really liking what he's doing out there. Um, his route running, his chemistry. I mean, he's taking reps while Dak's throwing him the ball, so he's getting chances. Right? Could this be the end of the Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown era, where they carry six wide receivers? Still early to find out. We'll see how these lights come on for these guys. That's on the offense side of the ball. Obviously, it's good to have Jarwin and Schultz working in that 12 personnel. I think that's fantastic work. We're going to be deadly in the 12 personnel, Joe. But on the defense side of the ball, I got to go with Maurice Kennedy today. He opted out last year, coming number 31, coming in here. He had a couple of picks and some couple of knockdowns on the chances he's got. So I like what Maurice Kennedy. He is a special teams player too, so I'm liking that right there. And then who else is there? For the most part, everybody else, Randy Gregory, the easy stuff. I'm trying to pick some no names so you guys can watch for the preseason. Pick the little smaller guys so you guys can know who to watch for. Because if I pick starters, we're not going to really get to see them till week one. So I'm trying to pick some no name guys so you can watch that are sticking out for me, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good list. I agree. Simi Fajoko's off to a good start. Camp looking fast out there. Looks like he's really, dug into the playbook. You know what I mean? You play faster when you know the playbook, and he's looking fast out there. Thus far, he's looking good. He might take one of those spots, and like you said, Malik Turner, that's another good one. So he's one player that the Cowboys did have at the end of the roster cuts last year. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and they had to put him on IR. So I think that the special teams, John Fossil is a big fan of his because he is a special teams kind of guy, right? So I think Malik Turner definitely in the mix. Noah Brown, I think, is off to a pretty good start as well. Cedric Wilson, he does have some stuff here, but you're not hearing as much as some of these other guys. So, and obviously, like you said, your starters are doing their thing, which is really good. From the rookies, other rookies, Nashawn Wright, I think is off to a really good start. Kelvin
Yes,
Jones,
Sean Wright.
yeah,
Thank you.
Kelvin Joseph has stepped it up as well. He's making plays out there. I do like to see that very much. Looking very competitive, in shape, right? So that's a good deal here. Nobody showed up to camp here out of shape and failing the conditioning drill. So that's that's a good thing as well. Very good. So yeah, man. So the atmosphere, the environment here with Mike McCarthy, a full offseason with him. They addressed some of the shortcomings that they had last year with COVID and everything like that, Mike. So, how do you feel? how important this is to be an Oxnard on the field with his guys.
It's super important. I mean, you look at the first year coaches. Some had success. I think it's the luck of the draw, and some struggled. Cowboys, struggled, and then it wasn't all just training camp, off season stuff like that. It was a lot harder going down, and Mike McCarthy's the type of coach. I mean, he's been saying we need to have our players. He's been an advocate of that. He stood for that. He's been saying that if you watch him all the way back in the OTAs and stuff like that, he wants the players on the field. You have to do installations. Mike McCarthy talked about installations, day 1, day 2, day 3. Things might get altered, but you have to have installations for the second-year guys, for the rookies here, because technically the rookies that we had last year, the second-year guys, this is new to them too, So there wasn't any preseason games last year, so all this is new. And for Mike McCarthy being his second year, it sounds like the Cowboys organization gave a freebie to Mike McCarthy for 2020. 2021, we're going to see what he's all about.
No, yeah, that's a great point. I think it's almost like a redshirt year for him, unfortunately. And you're right. You make a good point about those second-year players. Some of those guys are redshirted, but they're showing up too. Bradley and I, Reggie Robinson. You like to see these types of things. You like to hear this type of news. So let's take a look at some of the highlights from today, and we're going to look at some of my highlighted tweets here. And let me get this up here, and we'll discuss each one of these, Mike. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of this. All right. So
yeah, let's rock.
We're going to add this to our stream, and we're going to cover this. All right. So we're taking a look at. Let me see if we can go here. Let's see that's a good size there. So looking at this, we'll go to the first topics here. Obviously, the main one, Mike. Malik Hooker, officially signed, Mike. So looking at Malik Turner, he gets number 28, the iconic 28. Darren Woodson, the most prolific player there, perhaps that wore number 28. What's your overall thoughts here on the Malik Hooker signing becoming official today, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this signing, guys, I'm just going to tell you how it is, 100. I think the signing's overhyped, to be honest with you. The reason why KZ is on the team was because when they were doing the workouts and their visits, they didn't trust Malik Hooker's medicals. And so they went and signed KZ. Fast forward, a couple of days into camp, maybe it was part of the negotiation process. Maybe money was a thing back in March. And maybe they said, we'll wait, take a chance, and they got him now. But at the end of the day, our two players that we're trying to replace Xavier Woods with are coming off torn Achilles, guys. Des Bryant tore that Achilles, took a couple of years off of football, came back, didn't really make too much noise with the Ravens. That's a big injury. He's been hurt almost his entire career. I think on the durability rate, on the injury report app that I've seen, he's at number 2. So, I mean, you brought him in here. All this hype could be potentially for 17 games. It could be potentially for 4. But his track record is going to show he's going to miss a couple of games. Darian Thompson, we can't say bye to him. He's healthy. He's always been healthy. He's looking at the chops. He see 2 hurt guys, his resume, his health thing. There's some health things with him too. But as of late, he's been healthy. It's almost like a Brandon Carr thing. He sucks, but he's always there. So I don't know. We'll see how this guy plays out. I'm not overhyped about it, Joe. I'm really not. I wish him the best. I mean, obviously he's a Cowboy. He's wearing the star. If he wins that starting role, I want him to be healthy, right? He might be better than what we got. 7 picks in 4 years. I can't say a lot of Cowboys that have that on this team. I'm happy for it. I'm happy for him, get another chance in the NFL after all these injuries, almost like a Morris Claiborne type. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But let's not overblow it, guys, because we've always been overhyped in the past, and it just never turned out for the best.
Yeah. So my take on it is, I actually do like this deal, and it is a rolling of the dice situation, but it is what the Cowboys do now. The reason I do like this, I think you're seeing a little bit more of the Mike McCarthy influence as far as like let's step out of the comfort zone and let's go after a blue chip type of guy, albeit he does have the injuries, right? I mean, I covered it in my video this morning when we signed him. So, he's missed about half the time, right? He's a 50-50 guy. So there is that, but yeah, he does have a knack for getting the ball when he is playing. So I do like that. The Cowboys do protect themselves. I believe it is a 1 year deal. I think somebody mentioned it in the comments, and I think I saw that as well. So, protect themselves, take a flyer on him, and we'll see. Now the question will be, how much do they throw him into the fire? How much will he get as far as like when the pads come on? Because that's next, right? The next practice for the Cowboys will be padded practice. Will he continue to rehab a little bit? He is coming off an Achilles, same injury as Kazee, but Kazee, we'll get to him in a minute. He's out here making plays. So while I think Hooker definitely has a shot to be the number one there because of the blue chip, the former first round pick, it's just the health of it is a little bit of a concern. But I do like to have bodies in there. We have more bodies there. I definitely rather have somebody like Hooker and Kazee than Kazee and Darian Thompson myself. I'm just ready to move on from Darian Thompson myself. So good take there. Varying opinions, obviously. Guys, let us know in the chat box. What do you think about the Malik Hooker signing? Let me know if you like it. Let Mike know. Are you on it? Are you off it? What do you think about Malik Hooker? All right. So appreciate you guys sounding off in the chat box there. Mike, let's get to the next nugget here out of training camp for today. And that's like, let's look at this. Trayvon Diggs interception, off of the hands of Noah Brown there. So you're seeing Dak Prescott roll out here. Kind of a missed reception there by Noah Brown, looks like. Let's just take a look here. Looks like it was a little off target as well, possibly. But you do get Trayvon Diggs getting the interception. So, Trayvon Diggs, mentioned earlier, a couple days ago that he went back and looked at his tape and he could have had up to 14 interceptions if he would have, hauled them all in. That's amazing, bro. So just the fact that he's actually making some of these in all going all the way back to OTAs and now here in training camp, getting his hands on the ball and getting some of the intercept. What do you think about Trayvon Diggs thus far, Mike?
Yeah, in one of your videos about projected stats and stuff, you had Mr. Diggs here with 5 picks, and when you did that video, I was like, that's a realistic number, and I could see 5, 6, 7 to be honest with you. He's the type of player that's going to get beat. We've seen it last year, but he doesn't give up, and we've seen that when he knocked that ball out. I can't remember what game, but knocked it out, caused a touchback. The hustle's there, the respect's there from me. Number one, he's going to get beat. He's a chance type of player. He's going to take them chances. But what a steal in the second round too. I can't wait to see that second year leap in Diggs here. It's something special, and I'm really hoping that he can get those 5 picks as you projected and grow on top of that. And 5, 6, 7, I could see that. Just the attitude, he doesn't give up. The effort's there. He's going to be a pro. He's going to be a leader on this defense.
No, yeah, well said, Mike. I agree. He's definitely looking like he's taking that next step. We talk about the year 2 players, and we'll get to another one here. But you are seeing it, from CeeDee Lamb in the offseason. You see it from Trayvon Diggs and some other year 2 guys. I think they're going to be a big part of the success or not success of the Cowboys. And from what we're seeing so far, they're trending in the right direction. The arrow is going up and up for Trayvon Diggs. Year 2, I don't think we'll see any kind of sophomore slump from him at all. Like you said, he will go for it. So these quarterbacks that the Cowboys have now are a different kind of breed than what we've had in the past, where you had guys that didn't want to stick their nose in there and make a tackle and run defense. They didn't really want to go for the ball. These guys, they're doing their thing. They're doing it, and I do like that we kept Al Harris. I was a big fan of him as a player and as a coach as well. So I'm glad we kept Coach Harris on board here. I think I think it's an underrated coaching move. By keeping Al Harris here. I know some people may not have been on board with Al Harris, but I've always been a fan of Coach Harris. So, and I think that you're starting to see a little bit of that from these guys. You know what I mean? So you see what Deshaun Wright's doing, Trayvon Diggs, Calvin Joseph. A lot of these guys look good so far, and you do have to credit some of the coaching here, Mike. So I do like that indeed. Yeah, guys, pound that like button if you're enjoying today's content. Appreciate that. Ronan the voice. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate everybody joining us live. Let's get to the next piece of news here, Mike. And we're going to scroll down here into my feed here. We're going to take a look at this one here. It's another look at Malik Hooker and Diggs. Getting that camaraderie going, baby. Number 28. Yeah, man. They're good. They're glad to have him on board. I just love that. So that's just another quick look there. This one here, Mike. So Jalen Smith, a little frustrated here. Does another rep. Looking at our linebackers here. Getting that bag. Looking good. Michael Parsons. With that power, baby. Gifford. Yeah, so that was that rep there. So Sean Sharif, Jalen was really frustrated with himself on that first start of practice there. So, yeah, I mean, you saw it a little bit early in the week that where people were kind of on him on a certain play when, people were looking to throw dirt on him or whatever. But Mike, what is your thought on where Jalen Smith is at so far in camp?
Yeah, if you hear that linebackers coach, he said, find your burst before he went again. And Jalen Smith last year, he said, and reporters asked him, do you think you're safe next year? And he said, watch the tape. Cowboys did. They went out and converted Keanu O'Neal to linebacker. They went out and drafted Micah Parsons. We all know they want a corner, but they still went linebacker. They could have went O-line if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But they went linebacker, identified a need. And then they drafted Jabril Cox. And he's on Twitter. He's on Twitter a lot. And it's like when on Sandlot, when they're in the clubhouse and he's like, forever. The echo was there, right? Right now, Cowboy Nation's in his head. The drafting of Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox and Keanu O'Neal coming in as a free agent, converting specifically to linebacker, it's in his head. He's thinking about this. Pads are tomorrow. He has to find his burst. And he's lost that burst somewhere when he signed that dotted line on that contract extension. All that energy went to that pen, to that paper, and it's disappeared since then. He needs to shape up, get up. He paid almost $1 million to change his jersey number. To come out, a fifth-year pro will come out and can barely hit a bag. He has to step it up. If not, he will get swallowed up, shipped out of this league, and it won't be good for him. However, I do appreciate what he's doing for minorities on the entrepreneur business that he is running, helping minorities start their own business, come up from nothing, make millions. I do love that about Jalen Smith. He's looking out for Latino and Black communities in that aspect, but football's football. He has to come out here and play, Joe.
Yeah, and obviously it's just one rep there, but it's just, there's a lot of nitpicking that can be taken from a lot of these reps that are posted on here. That's why I've always said take a lot of this with a grain of salt, but it is good to see the competition here. I mean, as you see these linebackers go through this bag move here, play with power and shed is kind of what this drill is here, right? So, and that's kind of one of the things that Jalen has struggled with here as a pro is to shed, some of these big linemen, and I think a little bit of that is in the back of his head as far as, that Ohio State Fiesta game when he did try to shed that O lineman and shredded up his knee. So, it's injuries can get in the back of your head, whether it's Jalen, whether it's LVE with the neck, that sort of thing. But they're all on notice. Like you said, they've added a whole slew of linebackers in here. They've churned it, quietly. They've really churned it over. You got Jabril, like you mentioned, Michael Parsons in the mix, and you have Anthony Hines as well, the undrafted rookie at A&M. Gifford, if he can stay healthy, I think he's pretty good. But the guy's made of glass as well. So, yeah, man. Guys, let me know what you guys think about the linebacker room. Jalen Smith, LVE. Do you think that these guys are on notice as we get to the padded practices? You know what I mean? This is really where, some guys can clinch their roster positions here with the padded practices, Mike.
Yeah, 1980, former YouTuber here on YouTube. He says let the pads do the talking, and that's what it's about, man. A lot of the players that we've talked about, they can go to crap when those lights turn on and those pads come on.
Mm-hmm.
It separates the boys from the man for sure. And if you played football and at any level, when those pads come on, it's a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, great comments in the chat box, guys. Appreciate those coming on here. Thanks for everybody that's joining us live, and I'm trying to highlight the ones here that are popping off here in the chat box. Soup Trap, good to see you in the chat box, brother. Hopefully Parsons will take the leadership role and will be able to help Jalen get into position. Yeah, so that's the whole topic, right? Like, who's going to get that green dot? The green dot is basically your defensive playmaker, right, Mike? So that will be determined here in training camp, but ultimately in preseason. Who do you want to experiment? This is where you flesh out, your errors. This is where you want to make mistakes to correct. So the preseason for me is get it done. Make the mistakes now in preseason. Figure out who will be that play caller. Will it be Micah Parsons? I'm hoping it will be Soup Trap and that sort of thing. But Mike, what is your gut feeling? Do you think it should be Micah Parsons, the defensive play caller here at the Mike linebacker?
I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. No, because and I'm not saying Micah Parsons can't handle that success and that control, but I wouldn't mind LVE calling those plays. So LVE and Micah Parsons are going to be playing a lot, but I would want a veteran calling those plays, and you can eventually, progress Micah Parsons into that role. But if we're going to make an impact, we need a veteran guy that's going to call these shots, line everybody up where they're supposed to be, you know what I mean, and get this defense on track. Leighton Vander Esch first, transition to Micah Parsons either later on in the season or something like that, Joe.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mike. That is a really good point. LV at Mike for me. April, thank you for showing up as usual. April Showers is our go-to in the chat box. Love her to death. Yeah, I agree, Mike. That's a really good point. LVE, he has it. He's done it before, so I would agree with that. So, like I said, that'll be something that they can experiment with and just really figure out for sure who that will be in preseason. I think that's where that little battle will go there. So let's get to the next topic here, Mike. And this is Neville Gallimore. This is from Dave Hellman from the Mothership. Here's a quote from Neville Gallimore on how seriously he takes his development preparation, and I think it's pretty neat. Let's take a look at this a little bit closer here. This is pretty awesome. In the back of my mind, I know how special I can be. I look at guys who play my position who have played 5 to 6 years, 9 to 10 years, Pro Bowls, and that motivates me. And just knowing how far I've come, I still just think back to me being that little kid in Canada. It was never really about the money or about having everyone like me. It's like I like football. I love football. I just want to see how great I can be. Amazing, dude. We're talking about a year or two young man in his early 20s, Neville Gallimore, to have this perspective on the game. This is what you want to see, Mike. And we're, especially at a position that we've been yelling for the Cowboys to throw bodies at, and they did, Neville Gallimore, former 3rd-round pick here for us. What's your thoughts here on Neville Gallimore, Mike?
Yeah, we were high on him his rookie year when we drafted him out of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And, some injuries and some cuts happened, and he got a role. And I think I tweeted, don't be shocked when you find out who Neville Gallimore is. And, started off a little slow, came on stronger. And even from – and that's a rookie of last year who had no offseason and stuff, kind of played behind guys, shadowing guys, and then, bam, got the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And I loved it. Now he has a full offseason. He had a full offseason. COVID's kind of dying down. People are vaccinated, things of that sort, so he can get out more, go to the gym, go to the fields, do what all these other players are seeing. A lot of workout videos, right? and studying the game, like he said, 5 to 6 years, 9 to 10 years, and he's prepared. Football is a game of study. Now, we always harp on Jason Garrett of how bad of a head coach he was, but if you watch Hard Knocks in 2007, he said if you don't study, football is not for you, right? And that's the truth. That is the truth. You have to know what you're doing or you're going to get lost. Neville Gallimore, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he got to do. He set targets. Now how can you get there? He's getting those steps to get there, Joe. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, great point, Mike. Yeah, studying the game is a big part of it. It makes you play a lot faster, and you can be that playmaker. So, great point there, Mike. Appreciate you there. Keep the comments coming, guys. We got a good one here. Dan, the man Cunningham, one of my favorite handles names out there. Joe, what do you think of the scuffle today? I really don't care much for scuffles. Let me re-say that. I'm not concerned about scuffles. I think it's part of it. I think you need to have some of that here and there, as long as it doesn't get out of hand, obviously, and usually it never does. So scuffles, I think, are good for the game. It shows that there's a passion out there. You have some alpha males out there. You want guys to show up. You have guys that don't want to be embarrassed and this sorts of things. So, Mike, what do you think about scuffles that kind of break out in training camp, that sort of thing? Good or bad for football and for the Cowboys?
It's fantastic for football, because at the end of the day, when you go to that locker room, you're gonna have your brother's back. Scuffles are just part of football, and you want scuffles. You know why you want scuffles, Joe? It's because you care. You care about your job security. You care about what you're doing, and you're passionate about what you're doing. When I was in management, Joe, and customers complained, I loved it because they were passionate enough to tell somebody how bad we're doing, okay? Scuffles, the same way. I love it because it lets me know how bad they want it, right? So I love it. Not bad football at all.
Indeed. I totally agree there. I totally agree. Yeah, it shows who they are. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You want to see who else gives an F2. Yeah, exactly. Well said, Mario Flores. Appreciate you in the chat box as usual, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very much indeed. Xavier Howard trade. I just don't see the Cowboys doing that. Anytime there's somebody requesting.
Where is all this trading stuff coming from? We got Osman Fett. We got Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
I get it, trade Jalen Smith. And my prediction was he was going to get traded before training camp started, but that didn't happen. But
he did.
But we got to stop, dude. We got to stop this whole trading crap. I've even seen get Earl Thomas things, and I don't think people are trolling. It's mind blowing, Joe. I can't take it.
Yeah,
that's why I haven't made a lot of videos.
Let's get to this next topic here. This is, again, David Hellman. The offensive success was short-lived. Kazee, pick 6 off Dak. I believe that was Dak's 3rd pick today. More importantly, in my opinion, that's a Dallas safety reading and breaking on a throw over the middle and actually making a play. Very good observation there by Dave Hellman, breaking down this play here as we rewatch it on the replay here. That's Kazee, number 35, taking it to the house. All right. Taking it to the house. Let's see. Let's see, where's that pass going to? We look at this again. So there's Kazee, man in the middle. I think that was a slant route that was supposed to go to Turner. It looks like.
Who was quarterback?
That's Dak. That's Dak. That was 3rd today.
He had a lot of picks today.
Yeah, three today.
Well, we all know he's not, and he'll tell you, I'm not a very good practicer. He likes to take chances in practice.
Yeah. So, that's exactly, and then, like I said, that's exactly when you want to clean these types of things up. So, good play there. It was a slant route there to Malik Turner, and didn't make the connection there, and it pick 6. But more importantly, it was Kazee that jumped the route, right? So, I like that. So we talk about Kazee in the mix, and they bring in Hooker. So it's not a bad idea to throw these guys more bodies into the mix. I do like that. Primetime field trading these at dead money, not good. Yeah, that's another point there too. Trading, and the Cowboys, they rarely really ever do it, man. They did Amari Cooper. but it almost has to be like the perfect type of scenario and make the most sense for them.
Based
That's
on how you draft it. Now you can give up a first round pick for Amari Cooper because that's Amari Cooper. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But you don't draft Trayvon Diggs and Boss Man Fat in the second round 2 years in a row for you to go allocate draft picks somewhere else to bring somebody in. Then you just wasted a second round pick.
Yeah, that definitely would show poor roster
Draft,
management and
yeah.
draft management, and that's not what the Cowboys do. That would be more something like the Texans would do. You know what I mean?
The New York Giants.
I mean, the Houston Texans are the worst team to trade. If you want to poke somebody's eyes out, it's the Houston Texans. So if anybody's going to trade for them, it might be those losers further south of Dallas that make that move. April Showers, I love it by the defense because the media was crapping on safeties. I'm not really worried because Z is a vet, Hooker's a vet. It will come together. Very well
Yep.
said there, April. Very
But they have to stay healthy. They have to be healthy.
Yeah, they do have to. They do definitely have to stay healthy. They both are coming off Achilles injuries. But the Cowboys doctors signed off on both of them. So it's
Oh, they're healthy right now, but
yeah,
Sean Lee was always signed off on doctors too, and that hamstring kept nagging him.
exactly. So it's all when the bullets start flying, as I say. That's when we'll get down to it. Here's another look here. We'll look at this. Like I mentioned earlier, Al Harris mentoring the rookie Kelvin Joseph. Just a shot that I really like here. Like I said, I'm a fan of Al Harris as coach. I think you let him coach up these young guys, and if they can play at the level that Al Harris did, I mean, this guy was a pretty good, feisty, shut down corner, go after the ball corner. With the Eagles and the Packers, right? So Al Harris coaching these guys up. I mean, I think it's a very good influence to have. You have an alpha male coach teaching some of these alpha males how to become better alpha males. So I like that shot there. Good shot there from Brianna Dix, Mike.
Yeah, Boss Man Fat, do your thing, baby.
And then here we go. This is what we're talking about. Neville Gallimore on pads coming on tomorrow. That's when the real training camp starts, Mike. Neville Gallimore saying it up there really is really what we're looking at here. It's go time now. This setting here for the first couple of days and a half have been mini camp type of deal where you don't have pads on. You're not really out there bleeding. Now the bleeding starts, the hitting starts, the bruising, and hopefully these guys we have a healthy camp here as we get to the padded practices, and we're getting closer to the Hall of Fame game, Mike. So what
Yes.
do you want to see here now that we get to the real deal Holyfield with the padded practice? What's the most important thing you want to see come out of this?
Oh man, I want to see high competition, high level competition. I want to see vets. I want to see first, second, third stringers, possibly four stringers rotate a lot more with pads on, less risk of injury, but still able to get some reps in, right? And just play smart. Look out for your fellow brother. There's going to be more scuffles with pads on, way more scuffles with pads on, way more trash talking. It's going to be fun, and I just want player safety. Still have the competitions. Still look out for your fellow brother. But I need that safety, and I need that competition at a high level.
Yeah, that's what I want to see too, man. Just come out of this deal healthy. Competition brings out the best. Let the cream rise to the top. That's where we're going to see the separation, right? You got to see that separation, the cream rising to the top, and getting it going, Mike, getting it going. So lots of great comments here in the chat box. We'll look at some of the questions here. Cleveland Brown, between the two, who should be our number one tight end, Schultz or Jarwin, Mike?
That's a great question by Cleveland Brown, man. And I'm gonna say I've been on Dalton Schultz's bandwagon since the day we drafted him out of Stanford. Dalton Schultz should be our number one, and he proved it. The dude was just a stud. His blocking got better. His catch radius, his catching, his run after catch is better. No shade on Jarwin, but I think even though Jarwin has that extension, I think Jarwin needs to earn a little bit more trust back, see how healthy he can be. But give Schultz earned that starting position last year.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. For me, yeah, I like Schultz too. Out of Stanford, he's in a contract year, obviously, so he has another extra level to really ball out. He wants to exceed the contract that Jarwin got. Jarwin got a pretty, affordable deal, right? A 3-year deal. So Schultz, he's one of these guys where you get to the bye week and maybe you extend him if he's on this path of really knocking it out the park. Why have to go out and draft another tight end or why just lean on Jarwin when you can keep it in? How the Cowboys like to do that, right? They like to keep their own guys, so he'll be in the mix. Randy Gregory, I think, is another one too that looking good out here, looking really good in camp. So the opportunity is finally here for him, and I think he's going to do well with it. And if he gets double-digit sacks, that number will go up, significantly. Great question there, Mike. Let's see what else we got here in the chat box here. What do we got in here, guys? Let's see what other comments we got in here.
What do we got? What do we got?
We also have preseason cuts too, so we can still pick up a gem, possibly safety, cornerback, or defensive tackle. Yeah, that's true. You definitely preseason cuts come into effect, and the Cowboys do make these moves, right? Like you'll see some cuts, maybe some surprise cuts, but they typically do add people during the cuts. It may even be, somebody else's undrafted guy. Some of the practice squad candidates, they won't make it back to the practice squad. Maybe they like somebody else better. You know what I mean? Maybe they want another quarterback to develop. Maybe it's not Danucci. Maybe they want to grab somebody else. But yeah, safety, I think, if the draft were today, or if the draft were to happen tomorrow, safety to me is at the very top because they're still putting that band-aid on the position, Mike. I feel good about Donovan Wilson, but the other one, I think they're just playing with, still trying to figure it out.
Here's the analogy I got, and if you're Mexican, you'll probably understand. You ever been in a hurry sweeping the floor and the broom breaks in half? The broom, that plastic broom, you know how it breaks? The broom is what we got, right? KZ and Malik Hooker's the duct tape to fix that broom temporarily. You keep sweeping with that broke broom with that duct tape, KZ, Malik Hooker, it's eventually got to do what, Joe? It's going to break again, all right?
Right.
Yourself a new broom. You got to go draft yourself a new broom. Let's sweep these dudes out of here. Quit playing around.
I love that, dude. That's actually funny, but it is real, man. It is real. Soup Trap, Jerry going to be looking to get that discount. Gregory in section. I think there'll be a little bit of that, right? I think when you talk about a hometown discount, I think, to see where Gregory's at, I think there would be a little bit of that because, I mean, Jerry mentioned that, right? That you're, they've gone through some things, some big, serious type of deals, right? He didn't go into details, but they stuck with him. Jerry Jones stuck with him, so he could have himself a nice career here with the Cowboys if he, stays the course here, which I think he has. I really do think he's turned the corner here, and then he's really looking the part.
Absolutely. Mario Flores had a question here. How do you feel about Cooper and D-Law not being able to be part of camp until they get back to Dallas?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I think Cooper. If Cooper's on the resistance cord, it's a really good sign because when you're on the resistance cord, they trust your body enough to, number one, handle that. And Brian Broaddus talked about how much they have to do that on a daily basis. I think with Brett Brown, I think that's the name. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That handles that, but and it's a long time of getting on those resistance courts. So, and Mark Cooper's already on those courts. I don't think he might come back after this Hall of Fame game. I think that's when he'll be back in Pat. I don't know if they're in Dallas by then, but I'm thinking about a week to a week and a half they'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Primetime Phil, yes, indeed. I'll get to your super chat here in a second. Appreciate that donation, but Mario, it is a very great question to me, and I feel the same that you do, Mike. That Amari Cooper for me, not really concerned about that. I think that they really are being careful with that one because you want that offense to be humming. The one that low key kind of does concern me a little bit right now. I'm not breaking that break for emergency glass yet, but the D Law, the back. I don't want this to be another Tyron Smith situation where, okay, vet days, the Cowboys are lying to us like, oh, it's a vet day. No, it's really something is wrong here. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that yes, DeMarcus Lawrence will be here in Frisco at the end of training camp in preseason, because if you do get to Frisco and you're still dealing with this, nah, okay, then you do need to be a little bit concerned there. And then circling back to what April asked earlier, I think defensive end would be another position, that you may have to throw maybe a fifth rounder at somebody, grab, maybe try to pull off another Robert Quinn type of deal where you get somebody cheap but can still give you some juice off the edge. I do like what they did with Golston, obviously, but you still would need somebody else here. Now, that's projecting way down the line, right? So let's hope we don't get to that. But something that the Cowboys will definitely have in their back pocket, definitely indeed, and that sort of thing there. Primetime Phil, appreciate the super chat. Great job, guys. Nice to see the views with points to them. I may not agree with everything, which makes these chats amazing. You two are definitely inspirations for the channel and started as well. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to this upcoming season. Well said, Primetime Phil. Well said indeed.
Appreciate you. I gotta. Have you made a channel yet? Let's see.
Yeah, Primetime Phil. I'm gonna go look up Primetime Phil, and I guess you'll have a channel there. Primetime, if you want to plug your channel name, go ahead and plug it there in the chat box, my dude. We do appreciate you, man. We see you in the chat all the time. Loyal subscriber, we do appreciate you. Primetime Phil, thank you for the donation there, man. That's very kind of you. There's Mike. Try to get over that one there.
There we go.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Great work there. Yeah, plug yourself in the chat box, bro. Appreciate that. April Showers as well. I gotta elevate April if I haven't already to moderator. I need to get on that. Me and Foots were talking about that on his channel as well. One of our favorites, April Showers. Appreciate you very much, April.
Big shout out.
Yeah, but yeah, Ninja Nuts just signed Randy. Yeah, right. I mean, it for me it is. He was in one of my four guys. Right, was Randy Gregory. And the other two that I think are probably may not. I really don't think that the Cowboys are going to re-sign Connor Williams. There's just something about that I feel like they're going to move on. I could be wrong unless they sign him cheap. Michael Gallup, I think, is going to price himself out of the Cowboys range. But when you look at Randy Gregory, get him now, get him before the end of the season, and you can rock and roll. You know what I mean? I think defensive end is going to be high on the list for the Cowboys in next year's draft. You know what I mean? Lawrence getting kind of long in the tooth there already. Injuries are starting to mount up, this sort of thing. So they gotta add some more bodies there, Mike.
Absolutely. You always want to grow that football team, no matter who you are, what you're doing, where you're at. If not, you're going to be looking at this free safety position like we're doing now with the taped up broom.
Yeah, the taped up broom. That's a good one. All right, guys. Well, that's it there. I think it was a great show from us. Appreciate everybody that watched us in the chat box. If you're watching this live or on the replay, pound that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for all notifications when this channel goes live. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, my dude.
Yeah, _Cowboys Corner, right there on Twitter, guys. If you don't want to follow me on YouTube, because I hardly ever make videos, totally understand. But if you want to and you want to catch when I do make videos, football season's coming up, so there's going to be a lot of videos. Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube. Follow the realist. Don't follow the click. I just want views and clicks. Follow the real YouTubers. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of fake ones too. Watch where you get your information. That's all I got.
Yeah, well said there, guys. Well said there. You know how we do it here at the Frisco Report, Cowboys Blog, and Cowboys Corner. Bring it to you on the real. We do appreciate you, everybody in the chat box. Mario, Soup Tribe, April, Ninja Nuts, everybody that's in the chat box, Primetime Phil, everybody. I missed your name. I do see all you guys out there. So that's all we have today, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday for another edition of the Frisco Report. We'll see what comes out of the padded practices the rest of the week and leading up to next week's show. And I'll see you a little bit later this week with another video indeed. So, guys, shout out to everybody. Catch you for the next one. Peace.